hats.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to call the August 20th, 2024 regular scheduled Board of County Commissioners meeting to order. I didn't ask you earlier. Commissioner Hale, would you lead us in the prayer? White, again, in the pledge, please.
Gotcha.
If y'all would, please stand.
Yep, if you can, please stand. Lord, we thank you for this day. Thank you for the opportunity to get together to do the work of the county. Lord, we thank you for everybody that's here, and we pray that you'll get them home safely this evening. Lord, we pray that you'll watch over our county, our community, our country. Be with those that we may not even know they need help, Lord, but you do, and be with them and comfort them. Forgive us our sins, bless us, and guide us. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, good evening, folks. Welcome. Good to see all of you people here tonight. Our first item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes. We have the August 2nd, 2024 emergency call meeting and the August 6th, 2024 regular scheduled meeting. Anyone have any questions, comments, concerns on those minutes prepared by the clerk?
Motion to approve.
Have a motion by Commissioner
Second.
White, a second by, was that Perkins?
Perkins.
Commissioner Perkins. All in favor, aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0, Mr. Clerk. Item number 2 on the agenda is public concerns and comments. I do have several cards here. Mr. Brody Pack. Welcome, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Come to the podium and the clerk makes us all say our name and address for the record, please, sir.
Yes, sir. Brody Pack, 6470 147th Road.
Perfect. Welcome.
Thank you. I know with the recent storm, the ongoing cleanup effort taking place, what I have to discuss may seem insignificant, but I want to take a moment to add to the email that I sent each of you several weeks ago to further let you know the improvements and positive momentum that the building and zoning departments are making right now. At any given time, I have between 30 and 50 active permits that I am personally managing from mobile home dealers in the Suwannee County in various stages of the building process. This is in addition to the other 150 plus permits I manage from Marion County to Hamilton County and Putnam to Leon County. There is no doubt that our county struggled from Idalia last year to mid-spring this year. We saw the permitting process and inspection timelines go from days to weeks and months due to staffing level issue that did not appear to be getting much attention. I personally reached out to Mr. Franklin and expressed my concerns with the issues at hand and offered any help I could personally offer. And while the improvement did not come as quickly as I would have liked it, the change is now there. At the worst of it all, for a mobile home move-on permit, we were waiting 8 weeks for processing and 2 weeks for an inspection. Today, the Building and Zoning Department, along with the E911 and Public Works, typically have their part done within 2 to 3 days, only waiting on the Health Department to issue the septic permit. Even immediately following Hurricane Debbie and the county being closed for multiple days and the building department's building experiencing displacing flooding, the inspection timelines did not exceed 2 days, and that's pretty awesome. So what brought this needed change? In my opinion, the department got the resources they needed. I don't know what took so long to get those resources in place, but they are there now, and they are gelling as a team, and we as citizens and contractors are experiencing the benefit of a great staff and a permitting software that tracks and routes things in a timely and efficient manner. I understand that some other contractors have expressed concern with the staff, even singling out staffing complaints. I can't speak to what they have personally experienced, but the only out-of-line behavior I have ever seen in the office has come from the public directed to the staff and not the other way around. Let me be clear, I'm not in stating that I'm not speaking about any of the contractors or individuals who have offered previous personal testimonies, but I have too often seen others use vile language, name-calling, and be downright jerks towards the frontline staff because they can't do what they want when they want. And it is my opinion that in a private setting, this would never be tolerated, and those people would be personally walked out of the building immediately. Ms. Casely, Ms. Mayling, and Ms. Marling are doing a great job are great to work with, and every day they are becoming more knowledgeable and familiar with the jobs, tools, software at their disposal, making them an invaluable resource to our county. I hope you as county commissioners will take the time to get to know them and see firsthand where this department is at and where it has come from so you can respond to any concerns brought by your districts. Thank you for your time.
Before you leave, I didn't recognize who you were, so
Yep.
I remember talking to you.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and I remember your email. I don't know you. I've never met you. I didn't know you were coming tonight, but I'm glad that you did.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
Appreciate it.
I've had a couple conversations with you as well, and I appreciate your help and guidance and
Yes.
information you provided for me, and you got a great haircut, my friend.
Thank you. Appreciate all you're doing.
It's good to hear some positive feedback and you know, coming from obviously someone who's got a lot of experience in that world handling
Too often,
multiple
all we hear
counties.
is the negative.
Yes, sir.
And they're doing a great job. Sure, they had issues, but they're gelling now.
100%.
And it's doing good.
Appreciate you
Mr.
bringing
Pack,
that.
thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Got a hand up.
Mr. Chairman, point of clarification to the chair.
Sure.
Who was that name, please?
That was Mr. Brody Pack, P-A-C-K.
And he is?
I'm not sure. He owns a business that does. He's a contractor. Huh?
The permitting.
He does permitting for mobile home dealers. He's a contractor, I would assume, for multiple mobile home dealerships in North Central Florida. I have another one here. Let's see. Miss Charlene Moss. I saw you. Welcome, ma'am. Name and address, please.
Charlene Moss, 5984 Wiggins Road, Live Oak. I'm back up here to say a big thank you to everybody for all the hard work you're doing on this storm and all this heat. The cleanup is about to do me in, and I only have one homestead, so I can't imagine what you all are going through. But I just wanted to say thank you. I think you're doing an awesome job. I think everyone in the county is doing an awesome job, and everyone who works with you. And as a private citizen, I just wanted to say thank you. And I think that you ought to pat your families on the back and tell them thank you for standing behind you and with you in all the time that you have to devote to all the work that you have to do. I don't know how you do it all, but you do, and you do excellent. And I think, Mr. Morrison, I appreciate all the explanations, the good explanations on all the business that comes through so that I myself can understand better what's going on. You make it excellent. And the way you interact with the rest of the commissioners, I think I'm so glad you threw your hat into the ring and became our attorney, county attorney, because I think you're awesome. And you have a good sense of humor. That's always fun.
And he's a Seminole.
Yeah. We won't hold that against him.
I'm not going to comment on that after the back and forth between you two. And Mr. Greg Scott, I think you're doing an admirable job too. And I went online because I wasn't here at the last meeting. I had to miss it, but excellent work by Eric Musgrove and Logan, so I wanted to thank to them. And Mr. Barry Baker, who's clerk of the court, and all of his staff, they're doing an excellent job. And Keith in the finance department. So I'm just going to do a blanket thank you for everyone. And I got to thinking about all the storms that have come our way lately, and I think maybe the good Lord knew that you were going to approve that wonderful opportunity that the state gave our county and our area to put in that emergency shelter that we desperately need. And he wanted to make doggone sure, clean up now, he wanted to be doggone sure that we would understand all the necessary ins and outs of trying to take care of it, manage it, clean it up, work together, and still come out of it patting each other on the back and smiling and glad that we did a good job and that people are happy. And you did it so quick. I mean, you worked so beautifully together. It's wonderful to watch you. And I think he did that because he knew that you were going to approve that from the state and that it's a wonderful opportunity. And I think with knowing what you've been through, even though it's been rough for the last couple of years, at least now you know what kind of plan to put together so that it would be the most perfect building and facility. It's in an excellent location, and I think the building, once it's completed, will be the most perfect because of what you've been through and what your heart and your minds are just wonderful for putting it all together, and he's given you the wisdom to carry it through. So I just wanted to offer my thanks and stand up here and My legs are shaking, but
We'll appreciate it.
thank you very much.
Thank you,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Long.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Thank
that.
you.
Kind words.
Thanks for the kind words.
Yes.
I have another one. Let's see. Miss Stacy Young. Welcome, Miss Young. Name and address for the record when you get there. Or he yells at me down on
Stacy
the end.
Young, 910 Northeast Magnolia Road, Brantford, Florida, 32008.
Thank you.
Okay, so I come before you today because of a recent incident happened. If you look in the back, the young man back there is 21. He has a brother that's 19, and unfortunately, he couldn't handle it. My children were robbed of their father last Thursday. Our community lost a good man last Thursday because of a dangerous intersection. And it's hard knowing that the father of my children will miss the day that his kids get married. They will miss Barrett's graduation from the University of Florida. They will miss Braxton achieving his goal of becoming a lineman. He will miss the birth of of his grandchildren. He's not going to be there. Those boys had to grow up instantly. They were in the room while the last 5 minutes of CPR was done on their dad. My child, my oldest one, had to call the funeral home and make arrangements for his father to be picked up from the hospital and buried. No child that is 19 or 21 should have to do that. But we can't control those things. But you guys can help us out. Starting today, I will continue to advocate and I will attend every county commissioner meeting until I feel something is done. That intersection at Market Road and 49 needs to be addressed. There have been countless accidents there. I was told there was a stop sign with blinking lights. I went the day after the accident. The blinking lights were not working. The blinking lights are still not on stop signs. I don't think that would have fixed it. She blew right through the stop sign and hit him at a high speed. There were no brake marks. I don't know what the solution is, but that intersection has cost so many people their lives, and so many people have been hurt at that intersection. It is not an intersection that can continue to be ignored. It has to be addressed, and it needs to be fixed. Children shouldn't have to bury their fathers. My ex-mother-in-law, this is the second child she's had to bury in a month and a half because of accidents. The last one was a single vehicle accident in Lafayette County, but this one should not have happened. She hit him so hard when she come through Market Road onto 49 that it split the truck in half. It split the truck in half. That intersection continues to be a dangerous intersection. And I realize you have intersections all over the county, but this is one where it continuously happens over and over and over. And I will continue to advocate for him. I was with him for 30 years of my life. And he's a good man. He done a lot for our community. He coached a lot of boys in baseball and football. He helped with FFA. He was the true public servant. He was a Department of Agriculture law enforcement officer. And I can tell you right now, I will be at every county commissioner meeting until something is done.
Mr. Chairman,
Commissioner White.
Ms. Young, you have the board's condolences. We are truly sorry. I knew Ryan well, and like you said, he was a good man, and I promise you we're going to look into it.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate you coming.
Yep, we will be at every county commissioner meeting until something's done. Either myself or one of the boys will be here.
Thank you for coming, Ms. Young. And I think you
Thank
got
you.
consensus from all five of us that we're going to get something done there.
Please.
Yes, ma'am.
Absolutely.
Because it's not just him. There have been so many lives lost there, and there's been so many people seriously injured there. Like, this, it happened to us, and I'm going to be honest. I've always taught my boys that you advocate for yourself. And I teach my students, you advocate for yourself. And he can't advocate for himself. So I'm going to continue to advocate for him.
I understand.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Ms. Young.
Absolutely.
Mr. Cope, name and address, please, sir.
John Koch, Independent News, PO 33, McAlpin, Florida. Gentlemen, this is it for me. I'm not going to be a daily reporter anymore. I've had enough. I'm too frustrated, too angry, and too depressed, and seeing what's happened to our news and what's going to happen to it in the future. And the fact that none of these people here are going to be served, or maybe don't even have the willingness anymore. I don't know what it is, but I can't do it anymore. And I'm really greatly disappointed. You know, I get to maybe 1,200. And it was 50 years ago this week that I climbed the 23 steps to the Independent Post and began my career here 50 years ago. I've outlasted a lot of newspapers. I've outlasted all the radio stations. I don't know what to do. You're on your own. I'm going to leave you in the hands of the most capable people that I know at the moment, and that's the newspaper. God bless you. God help you.
Thank you, John. Thank you, Mr. Coates.
Thank you for your 50 years.
50 years. Thank you for your service, Mr. Coates.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you, Mr. Land. Coming from you, that's appreciated.
I don't know.
Let me give you the salute, sir.
Any other members from the public wishing to speak tonight? All right, see? Huh?
Are they all down?
I think Mr. Coates did that.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Appreciate you covering
I
for me.
did it to your counterpart in Lafayette County for years, so, you know, don't feel,
Appreciate you covering for me.
All right, we'll move along to the consent agenda. We have items 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 on the consent agenda. Any items need to be pulled for discussion?
I have none.
Any questions? Hearing none, do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So, second.
I got a motion by Commissioner Hale. I got a second by Commissioner Perkins. All in favor, aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0 on the consent agenda. Next item on the agenda is constitutional officers. Any constitutional officers present wishing to speak? I didn't see any. Can we skip down the county attorney items?
Okay.
Mr. Attorney, you ready?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Two things before I've got a little bit of a PowerPoint presentation for everybody. The first is agenda item number 9, which I got a phone call from a Danny Brandt who owns some real property located in the city. I guess word got around he doesn't want to pay taxes on it anymore, so he wants to donate it to the county. I did ask Ron to look at the property in case there are any questions. It's over basically across from where the what part of town is that in, Ron?
East of Lee Street, that's by the assisted living. It's where the chicken store is. You can turn on Main Street. It's like
Yes, sir, please.
Yeah, I'm terrible with geography.
Mr. Clark's getting upset over here.
Okay.
So if you turn on Lee Street north of the railroad tracks and immediate right on Main, which is 86th Street, the property is, at my last attempt, was not accessible. It's underwater back there, but there is there's one road that you can go back towards the railroad tracks and loop back in. If you look at it on the aerial, I don't know what benefit the property would actually serve the county, but I mean, if somebody wants to give you something, it's up to the board to accept it. But it is a piece of property. It's within the city limits of Live Oak. It is north of the railroad tracks.
It's across, I'm looking at, Mr. Scott was kind enough to hand me his map here, because that's why I included the GIS map, because I'm terrible with it. It's across the street from Corbett's Mobile Home, if you were to go back into that neighborhood past Howard Street.
It's fucking that great road. Excuse me, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir. Commissioner Perkins.
The great road back off of Lee Street. Great road back to the right.
When you're on Lee and you turn right on Main, you've got Wheeler Street, which is your first street, and then I can't remember what the second street is. It would be the third. It's a graded road that goes to your right.
Yeah.
So
That does floods in that road.
It was underwater. I went back there. You couldn't get back there. It was underwater. So I mean, don't know if there's water on the property, but the access was limited.
So I don't have any recommendation, but he wants to give it away to the county, and so I just need direction from y'all if you want to accept it or reject it. If you choose to accept it, I need authority to accept it on the county's behalf.
Well, I'm going to take the same position I took on the last one, but I don't particularly see a need. Number two, obviously the current landowners tried to sell it. If we take it, what are we going to do with it? I feel like we're just inheriting someone else's problem. It's not marketable for whatever reason, or he would have sold it. Are there taxes owed
There's not
on it?
taxes owed on it, as I understand it. I haven't done too much. Again, I got this just right before the agenda was due.
Yeah, I got it.
And so it's just, he doesn't want to pay taxes on it anymore. Actually, I take that back. I did look. Taxes are not owed, taxes are current. He just doesn't want to pay taxes on it anymore.
Mr. Chairman,
Yeah, yes, sir.
Ron's done sat down, but I'm not sure exactly where it is. Does it back up to the industrial park out there?
No.
No,
This is in the city of Live Oak.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. Not, we have a little park over here across from the old Corbett's mobile home.
No,
It's a little away from it.
I just didn't know if it.
If you turn, you know where the,
Okay. I got you. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, I've got an area view of it.
Got you. Yep.
Thank you, Ron. I wasn't trying to touch it.
Got you.
I mean, I think if he wants to give it to someone, maybe the city would be, it's inside the city limits. Can they not take title?
They can, same as we can.
I just don't see the need. I don't see the need for us taking a, I don't even know how big it is. Looks really small. I'm looking at the,
Acreage should be on the GIS printout.
no. It's not. But that's just up to y'all. I was kind of
I'm in
against the last
agreement.
one.
It's in the city. I think the city should take it if they want it.
I agree with that too. I mean, if they can take it, make a retention area out of it, something
Yeah, I
that
just
may be
think,
beneficial to them, to.
That's
take
kind of
it.
exactly my thinking. I mean, if we take it, I mean, now the county owns a piece of property that's obviously has marketability issues, be that what they are. But now the county owns a piece of property inside the city. I mean, I think the city, if anybody's going to take it, I think it needs to be the city.
So, I mean, I don't need a vote to reject something. I'm just hearing consensus that
I'm a no.
we're not willing to accept it at this time.
I'm a no. I don't know.
I'm a no.
No.
All
You got
right.
4,
All right.
Right.
5. Bobby's a no too.
All right, I'll take that back to him. The second thing I wanted to discuss with y'all, Commissioner Perkins especially, is the soccer fields and the Women's Health Clinic that we've been in discussions about. How they had submitted a proposal, now they've submitted another one, which is a positive move in the right direction in terms of an economic development agreement. There's still tweaking that needs to be done. But we've kind of talked about it in passing. I wanted direction from you guys as to how serious we want to get with them in negotiating putting a women's health clinic out on the soccer fields. One thing I would say after speaking with some staff members is that's, everybody knows the piece of property I'm talking about, right?
Right.
So the land out there is 22.8 acres. Just me, but I can't imagine they need all 22.8 acres to put an office, to put that. And in the back of that is a bunch of drainage because that part of the road floods back there. So I think one thing I would say, and this is just me thinking out loud, is the county's going to probably want to maintain ownership of that just to control the drainage and water flow in that area because that's where that area did flood just a couple of weeks ago. So my first thought would be to talk to them about lowering the acreage they need. But I just wanted to get direction from you guys as to you're okay with putting them in that location if we can otherwise get an agreement worked out. So I just, like I said, wanted direction before I started really investing a bunch of time into it.
Why's everybody looking at
Well, I'm Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir, Commissioner Perkins.
That's one of the spots that she was favorable of, and it's kind of like, I think it's a twofold thing, is that you get rid of that property, and now it's becoming on the tax base, and you're getting that health center coming in. So I mean, I'm not opposed to them, giving them, I mean, to work out a deal with them on the property and save that back half of it. Because we know that there is a well on there to be able to get water off of it. There's a natural well there. So, I mean, if any water that you can pump, right now, I got a picture of water running in that well. So that's a well disposing of a lot of surface water to get it. So I would say, keep that part of it, that portion of it. That property, there's used to be old mining. To build on that property, you got to be able to put in a mesh, geomesh to put in there to build and make it stabilized to build on. But I mean, it's sitting there, it's not being used, and it's going to bring the property into something, it's going to bring in some jobs and bring in some economic development. So I don't see a problem working with them and getting that property. I don't have a problem with it.
And just to clarify, if I may, Mr. Chairman, in terms of the property and how we would structure it, it wouldn't be an outright gift. It would be a mechanism of, like we do with most economic development agreements, we sell it to them, there's clawback provisions, there's mechanisms of ensuring that it's actually moving forward, it's not some kind of dream project, and then there's ways of incentivizing that. But I would work through those details. I just want to make sure we're not giving it away.
Well, this, I mean, is it okay? I don't know that everyone in this room knows what this proposed project is.
All right, just by way of explanation to the public, Mr. Chairman, we had a woman, I forget her name, she came to speak at
Chanel Harris.
Chanel Harris. And she came to speak to us probably 6 or 8 weeks ago with the wanting and asking the county to bring a women's health facility, a low-cost women's health care facility to Live Oak, and it would be a low-cost facility, would not provide abortion services, and would be there to serve our community. She wants to put it at the soccer fields, which is located, what's that road that it's off of?
72nd.
72nd, yeah. I'm terrible.
And 795.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's the project that we're talking about, and helping that move forward with being generous with the county's land to put that there. It would not be a gift, but it would obviously be not selling it at fair market value, an economic development type of deal.
Yeah, that piece of property, the county came by that property by DDJ donating that property for a soccer field. And so now that they're asking for, but not so much as a gift, but
I'll work that part of it out.
Okay.
And again, we're not doing anything today. I don't need board action. I just wanted to make sure it's that you guys are okay with moving forward in that direction, because it's about to be kind of go off the deep end in terms of work. And if we get to the point of a finalized agreement, I want to be able to say that there's an understanding on the board's end that this can move forward. Because there's no point in doing it if the board's a no.
Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, Commissioner Hale.
I just have a question. I mean, I had the opportunity to speak to the young lady. I think all of us have. And I know that was one piece that she mentioned, but I had suggested some other pieces that I thought would be suitable as well. Is this something, and again, I haven't had a chance to speak to her again, but is this something that she's recently come back to us on? Or, I mean, have we offered or showed her some of these other pieces? And I'll just be frank, I was thinking pieces that we have like around the hospital because of the nature of the facility she was doing, things of that nature. Also the health department, I think we got some property there around the health department. I was just trying to think of the terms of the nature of her business,
Mr. Chairman,
how it would fit. But
when do you get that?
Yeah.
To speak to that to Commissioner Hale, she did look at the other piece of property. She talked with Scott about those property, but she was looking at those property by the health department. Her thing was she wanted to be close by the interstate.
I got you.
I even mentioned about the property, the fire station property, but she liked that piece of property there. So that was one that she's more favorable of, but she didn't want to be by the health department because they buy the same services. She was here in town and they had a meeting today, but I'm not sure if she's still here or not. But at any rate, but that's to answer your question, is she's wanting that piece of property. She want to be close by the interstate, and she has viewed the other property that you're speaking of.
Okay. Gotcha.
Anybody got any questions for that?
Other than, I mean, it's the pleasure of the board. We can all discuss it and hammer it out. But I mean, obviously, I agree with what the attorney said. I mean, that's a lot of acreage. I mean, I think it needs to be whatever we come up with.
So,
No, yeah, I think that.
Yeah.
I mean, I think. Oh, I can't say I think because I don't know, but I mean, I'm in support of the Ms. Harris's project. I think that's definitely a need for, and I forget how she calls that, but you know, it's a pro-life facility for. I don't know if it's distressed mothers, but it promotes pro-life and childbirth.
Well, it's going to be
Birthing center.
Like a birthing center. Yep.
Yeah, it does, what you described, it does total care for women from childbirth to those even past childbirth. They're doing, I think, saying mammograms and all that kind of stuff. I don't know terms they are women, but anyway, if I may mess up something, but mammograms and all that kind of stuff for women health.
Women's health.
So yeah. So I'll leave it right there.
No, I think there's a need for that in our area because I think a lot of folks are going to Lake City or
No, it's Gainesville.
or
I mean,
Valdosta,
And this
having to
is-
travel for their
yeah.
services.
Right, and not to cut you off. And also, this is to do regional. It's not to just do Suwannee County, but it's to do regional for all counties that she's projecting to do all counties.
My only suggestion would be is that, number one, we do some type of limited acreage. I mean, like, I think everybody's saying, hey, there's no way that the project needs 22 acres or 23, whatever it is. And then secondly, the parameters. I mean, just like any other developers agreement, there's time frames in which they have to go vertical.
Right. No,
And then
that's the
reverter
stuff I'll
clause,
work
it's like,
into.
hey, like
Yeah.
if this thing doesn't get off the ground, then and
We
then-
get it back.
And then some. I don't know how far you've gotten. I certainly don't want to get off in the weeds if you talked about purchase prices or some type of whatever. I'll let you work that out and bring something back. I don't know how
Yes,
far
sir.
you've talked to her. on
We're at
specific terms.
we're at the beginning stages, but I wanted to
Okay.
make sure that I wasn't barking up the wrong tree. If it turns out that the board wasn't going to consider it at all, then I needed to let her know that. So I don't need board action. I just wanted to feel the board out.
Any questions?
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
You say it's a regional facility and the other counties are interested. Is there any buy-in from the other counties?
That's me. She has not discussed it about any other county buy-in with it.
I mean, that's just a question I would ask. If other
Yeah.
counties are interested,
She's working with Commerce. I know she's told me she's talked with Commerce about them their things that they want to pitch in and help out for financing, rural development, farmers home.
she's got some
She also
backing from the
with Corey. Corey is backing her and helping her with this. Senator Simon is supportive of it. He's been helping her with it. I think Mr. Norris, I think she talked with him as well about this, and so.
So she does have some backing from the state as
Yes,
well.
mhm.
That's what I remembered anyway.
And Mr. Norris can bring us up to date on it.
No, well,
Yes, ma'am. Name and address.
Marilyn Aiken, 14241, 225th Road,
Welcome.
Live Oak. And this is just for clarification on my part. Is this the young lady that came and talked to us about 8 months ago?
Yes, ma'am.
Where the presentation and all?
Yes.
Very good.
Yes, ma'am. Yep.
so what I'm hearing from the board is no on the whole thing because we want to keep the back part for drainage and move forward with trying to work out some kind of economic development deal in line with what we've dealt with.
See what the proposal is. Yeah, working.
I'll work through on that part. I just wanted to know what the pleasure of the board was before I move forward. Thank you. With that, Carissa, if I could borrow you for a few minutes. Next, I wanted to bring up, Mr. Chairman, just by way of a little background, the reason I put this I've got a quick presentation here together for the board. I know a lot of you are aware of this, is, it's a feature, not a bug, that people who have a bad experience with the county get to call you guys and tell you something wrong that's happened. And that's how it should be. We don't hear a lot of stories about how the county came to help. I hear that a lot as the county attorney, but those aren't my stories to tell, so I don't. But when Hurricane Debbie came through, now I'm in the position where I have a story to tell, and I just wanted to share it with everybody. And it's not my story, it's actually Hal Ayers, who's got the office next to me. So just by way of background for everybody, my office is over there at the intersection of 129 and 90. And when Debbie came through, my office didn't get flooded, so I was ecstatic. Sorry, Tori. And so I thought everything was going to be fine. So we go to turn the power on, and the power's working in most of the buildings, but not mine for some reason. And so I asked my assistant to call Florida Power and Light and figure out what's the problem. By the way, this is Tuesday as I'm getting ready for County Commission, and we're getting ready to go forward on Project Summit. So that was a fun day to have all that happen. And so I went in the back and I said, can we get the power turned on? And the Florida Power and Light guy, in no uncertain terms, told me, oh no. And in fact, he shut the power down to the whole block. So I've got a few pictures here just to give everybody an idea as to what we're looking at. So what we're looking at there, this is Hal Ayers building from the front. My office is to the right there as we look at this picture. And you can kind of see off the side, you see some tin hanging off of it.
Between the buildings.
So what had happened on the other side of that block, and I didn't get a picture of it because I felt bad for her. Y'all know where Susie's florist is? Her roof came off with the wind like a tin can and flew on top of Hal Ayers building. And the problem that we got is it's a perfect storm of nobody's responsible, because it's on Miss Susie. I'm not trying to throw in, she doesn't have insurance. It's on top of Hal Ayers building, but Hal Ayers not going to, roof insurance isn't paying for it because his roof is fine. It's somebody else's roof. What's the problem? It's double roofed. And so if we can go through and to give you an idea of just how catastrophic this ended up being, this is where you can kind of see it hanging over Live Oak Jewelry. Keep going. And here you see, this is the view from the back of my building. It gives you some kind of idea. It's hanging off of Hal Ayers. And you see there the power pole. Go to the next one. Wow. And you can see it sitting there hanging on top of the power pole. Wow. And you saw the problem. All of a sudden, the power company was like, not only no, are you not getting power back, but we're going to shut it off for the whole block. And nobody gets power. And so power all the way down to the Alcorn's office, all the way through mine, was shut off through that whole block. And we didn't know what to do. The city didn't know what to do. The county didn't know what to do. We tried to hire private contractors to come in there to come in, and they just said, oh, God, you're screwed. That's not a joke. And you can see there, that's the tin sitting on top of the power line. So we get to Wednesday, and we really didn't know what to do. But one of the people who became aware of it and found out about it was Jimmy Norris. And a lot of people, you know, one of the things that I was told when I took this job is a lot of this job is about building relationships. And I kind of eye roll at that. I'm not the people person, in case you haven't noticed. But, you know, one of the people who's absolutely exceptional at that is Jimmy. He's probably better than just about anybody I've ever met at it. And so Wednesday morning, word comes through that Governor DeSantis is coming through. Okay. So Jimmy, because we'd been working on Project Summit and putting a hurricane shelter here in the county, and has been working with the Department of Division of Emergency Management. By the way, that's the same people you would need to talk to if you needed a major roof problem fixed. So Jimmy, because he knew who to talk to and when to talk to them, was able to talk to the governor's people. And when the governor came on tour of Live Oak that day, he came through, and that's my building being used as a backdrop with a poor photograph taken by me. And you'll see the two people there in the picture is Governor DeSantis, and he's sitting there with Division of Emergency Management Director Kevin Guthrie. What was announced at that little press conference is that the crane was on its way. The state was taking care of it. The state was going to handle it, because the honest answer is, had the state not taken care of that roof, that entire block would be shut down still, and nobody knows when or if it would have been turned back on, because it was at least a $250,000 project. All right? Because there were, at minimum, after he got to make his announcement, of 70 to 80 people who came to help out with this. But just to show again, it is about the relationships. Division of Emergency Management, Guthrie's there at the back of my building. Chris, if you'll hit the next slide for me. Y'all remember that letter that got sent to the county about how important it is to have that shelter? Signed by the Director of Division of Emergency Management, Kevin Guthrie. So again, it is about relationships, about knowing those people. It's about being good to work with. It's about being easy to work with. It also, I don't mean to use this phrase lightly, it helps that, a year ago, a hurricane came through this exact same way. So all of those relationships were still there. They were still fresh. All of those people were known. But to give credit where credit is due, Jimmy Norris was able to help out Mr. Airth and an entire block of businesses here in Suwannee County because of his relationships to get them here. And I say this unequivocally. But for Jimmy Norris and having the relationships with the governor's office and the Division of Emergency Management and being able to get that aid to Suwannee County, it doesn't happen. And that's just a fact. So on behalf of Mr. Airth and everybody on those blocks, thank you to Jimmy Norris and all of Suwannee County, because but for the help of the county, this doesn't get fixed. So we could go on just to give people an idea of the scale of what got fixed. That's the 250-ton crane that got brought in. Keep going. Just some more pictures of it. But just to give an idea of the scale, just flip, keep going forward to the video. Again, 80 people were here. They shut down 90 in front of the office. You see them there working on housing. This is a video taken by Rob Wolf. And just to give a sense of the scale, this is 1/4 of the sheet of tin that was on Mr. Airth's roof. It's taller than his building. While that video is finishing up, just, we don't hear very often about when the county comes through and helps people. And but for the people in the county, knowing the people to talk to, Mr. Airth, everybody on that block is still in a problem. An entire block of our county, of our downtown is shut down and would continue to be shut down. So thank you to Suwannee County for having the relationships, knowing how to nurture them and continuing to do so. And again, we wouldn't be able to. I'm happy to be able to sit here and share this story with you all today. But that brings me to the next bit, which is probably the most important thing I deal with all year. If you'll hit the next one. That's right.
Man, come on.
Oh my God.
All right. So, for those who are unaware, starting last year, contrary to what people may say, Christmas is not the most wonderful time of the year. It is fall because 2 reasons. One, school's back in session. And as a father of triplet girls and a wife who's a teacher, thank God. And college football comes back. And so this weekend, week 0, Florida State's going to play Georgia Tech in Ireland. And last year, Commissioner Franklin, what's your last name?
White.
Thank you. I call them other things when people aren't around that have 4 letters, so it's all right. Commissioner White and I had a bet, which we're going to renew this year, with maybe a little extra sauce thrown in, which is first that the winner of the Florida State game, I represent Florida State, go Noles. Commissioner White represents the Dirty Gators.
Which is, if you notice in the picture, is on top.
That's what I'm saying.
And so the winner of the game is always held, we make the bet now before the college football season starts, and Commissioner White can realize just how bad his team is. Make that bet now. The winner of the bet gives the loser of the bet a tie of the winner's choosing. And I've got just happen to have a photograph of the one last year here. So in case anybody wants to know what it looks like, you'll see there the gorgeous Seminole logo that we have. So, and also, Commissioner White, anytime you're absent, we're going to put this up standing in your seat. It'll sit back there.
You gotta get that cardboard cut out.
All right. So it has to wear a tie of the loser's choosing, but if it's a real butt whooping, which we're describing as a win of 20 points or more, the tie has to be a bow tie. And the tie has to be worn for both of the meetings in December. So the game's always on the last weekend of of November, Thanksgiving weekend. So both of the meetings in December, you have to wear the tie. But perhaps the most important part of the bet is the loser on the record, because victory may be temporary, but the public records of Suwannee County are forever. On the record has to declare the most important part, the dominance and superiority of the winning team. And in case you have any questions as to what it's like for the loser to say that, Miss Chris, if you'll hit the button for me, please.
Dominance and superiority for at least 12 months.
You couldn't quite make it out.
You're enjoying this way too much.
Oh, for those who want to know, because you can't quite hear it, you can play that on YouTube now as much as you want. Eric, is that true?
Yes.
All right.
Mr. Attorney, just so you'll know, I didn't have an opponent, so I'm elected for 4 more years. So, as my daddy always said, a blind hog will find an acorn every now and then, and sooner or later we will win.
That's all right. Kentucky won eventually. So, those are the terms of the bet, and we decided, I spoke with Commissioner White, we're going to one-up it 2 this year. In addition to having declared the dominant superiority in the photographs to be taken, the official photographs, you have to wear the tie provided by the other person. So, the terms of the bet, Commissioner, do you accept?
I do. Yes, sir.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
I ain't scared.
All right. Here we have it.
All right. That's all of my county attorney business,
It's on.
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Attorney,
Yes, sir.
Project Summit, can you update us on that? Did we get closed?
So, yeah, so we closed the 15th, so congratulations. The county now owns the 390 acres.
Good.
Today, y'all approved the revolving loan fund documents. We'll just need to sign and execute those and get that sent. We'll have that taken care of. But county is now the proud owner of 390 acres where an emergency shelter is going to go in.
Good deal. Are you done? That was long. Are you done?
Yes, sir. I'll be quiet next time.
Staff items. Any staff present wishing to speak? Mr. Meeks.
Mr. Chairman, board members, just something to go over. It was kind of late towards the end of last week when it kind of came up. Commissioner Land, I know you're aware of the incident that happened with property appraiser's vehicle. Ricky Gamble, property appraiser, they lost a truck, caught fire, and burned down. So Ricky has actually indicated to us that, to replace that truck, he wants to replace it with a comparable truck that they have with the other trucks. And we actually have one of those on our staff with the code enforcement office. It's a newer truck, and Ricky has asked about purchasing that truck from our department. And then what we would be doing is replacing that truck in the code enforcement office with the purchase of a new truck. So we would just have to pay the difference, which we can cover through our current budget. So I'm just looking for approval from the commission to explore that.
Yeah, and I talked to you before earlier today. Just to highlight a little bit, I think that there actually is a need for the code enforcement officer to have an extended cab, or probably not a 4-door, but an extended cab due to now he has a drone and some other equipment that he's in a single cab truck. So there's some storage issues there whenever he is out and about, and being able to secure his equipment in the bed of the truck, or a toolbox that has a universal key, as some of them have.
We could utilize a different truck. Ricky and his staff could utilize the truck that we have. So he's asked to purchase that truck from us rather than being on a year-long wait list. You used to could find a regular cab truck on any lot you wanted, and now those seem to be the short Yeah, sure, fine.
Did we come out on top on the negotiations?
Well, actually, is Mr. Klepper here? I was going to let Mr. Klepper be the negotiator on our behalf.
I'm perfectly fine with our
Is
negotiation.
she here? I don't see Mr. Klepper. We'll let Mr. Klepper negotiate for us. Mr. Gamble. I'm fine with that.
As well.
It's good.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Any other, Mr. Fury?
Oh, that's
Oh, here comes the skid steer.
Skid steers. Skid steer.
We will not talk about skid steers.
Taken care of.
It's already taken care of. Thank you, Mr. Hale. Just a quick update on a couple things. The springs are still closed, obviously, with the river. We're monitoring those and get those open as quick as we can. The DOT Rural Summit that we were going to host at the Coliseum in a couple weeks was rescheduled. I'm sure you've seen the email, but just wanted to remind you of that. October 8th is the rescheduled date for that. We also have FEMA at John Hale Park, and we have, talked to Mr. Perkins today, we have USDA is going to go to the Annex and X2 at the Coliseum for a couple days. They've got some aid for some farm workers and different things that they can access and help them out over there. And the shelter, obviously, the shelter's closed up last week. So as far as our facilities, we're starting to get a little bit back to normal once we get FEMA at John Hale Park. So really, I did want to appreciate you mentioning about Project Summit and the closing, but just want to kind of start the discussion about what that looks like, under blue skies, as they say. I know it's a shelter from the state, but as Parks and Rec and the discussions, we brought up Wiregrass as an example and different things. So at some point, obviously Parks and Rec would like to be involved in those discussions. Maybe we'll involve Mr. Norris in economic development on that as well. But we'll see, at least Carissa with the tourism side of things, because the sports tourism facility, I think, does make sense. And so just want to start that discussion. I say that to say, we have the last meeting, we awarded the contract for our master planning with the county, with Miller Lake. And so they have done some of these type things, I'm sure, and would like to kind of, start getting their input and maybe get some conceptual designs or some drawings or what it could look like as we move forward with the state and the public, and kind of let it, put it out there what this possibly could look like, Project Summit.
Board members? Questions, comments? I'd be in support of that.
Absolutely.
I would, just be, you got to do what you got to do, but be cautious on the depth that you go until we get another.
No, I don't think we're spending
commitment.
any kinds of money right now. Just some discussions and talks of, what kind of experience do they have? Point us in the right direction. How can we get some drawings? What does that look like?
Well, we know the state has asked, hey, are y'all going to be working on that and bringing us something to look
Okay.
at? So we're aware that they're expecting something like that. So yeah, I would say that you should probably, and I don't want to speak for the board, but I would suggest that you should probably start on something like that. Just watch the depth on the financial side that you go to, and
Sure.
until we get to the next step with the state on another financial commitment.
Yeah, makes sense. Okay.
Board?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep. Commissioner Hale?
Yes, sir.
All right, that was
You
it.
got consensus to eat, put your toe in the water.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir, Mr.
just a
Shaw.
reminder, too, that the legislature have asked for renderings so that they can show what it would look like as a concept, so they can make sure we got some appropriations in line for next year. So I think Ms. Furry's right on track in using that group as a starting point.
Yeah, the senator and the representative both asked, like, if y'all got some or thought about conceptual. So, I mean, I think we all know, and they've talked to all of us at some point in time and mentioned that they would like to have something. So I think, we got to do something as far as what that looks like, what it could potentially look like. So go ahead, Mr. Fury. Anybody else? Y'all good?
Good.
Good.
Any other staff wishing to speak tonight? Nope. Commissioner items. Any commissioners have any items to discuss tonight?
Litter. What litter pickup? Anything on that?
Brenda and I talked about it again yesterday, maybe. I don't know what day it was, but she's going to follow up again and see where they are. This should be started already.
Okay. Would you bring us an update back on that with the litter contractor?
Right.
One more, Mr. Chairman. ton of people ask about mosquito spraying.
That's starting tonight.
How many times are they going to, that's my question. They keep asking me, how many times are they going to do that? Just one time? Okay.
Just so, Barbara, I was going to bring it up later, but
Yep.
they will start spraying the evening of the 21st until the morning of the 22nd.
Okay.
So overnight, if weather permits, to get the county sprayed.
Okay. But just a one-time?
Yes.
Okay.
Historically, that's what, it just takes one time.
Gotcha.
I think the emergency management put a post out on social media.
Okay, good.
With a few more details, and I believe they posted it in English as well as in Spanish. So there's,
The biggest question I just was getting asked is how many times will they do it?
yeah,
So,
I understand.
yeah.
Any other commissioner items, Commissioner Perkins?
Just a quick question. Mr. Scott,
Yes, sir.
on the mosquito spraying, are they doing anything with the city with that? Is they in conjunction?
It'd be the whole county.
Okay.
Right. It'll
They
be
do multiple
aerial
counties.
spraying.
Okay.
Like crop dusting, I guess, the way I
They
understand.
fly in a big plane, they fly high, and they cover
Let it go.
multiple counties.
Yep.
Tell them to stop over my house. Anybody else? Okay. Any consultants present wishing to speak? How many county consultants? There is no general business. We do have an additional agenda item number 10. We got 2 additional agenda items. Item number 1 is the approval of and authorization of the county administrator to execute a 5-year lease agreement with Ring Investments for a Caterpillar 950 GC wheel loader for the mine. That would be the Lime Rock mine. Pending county attorney review, it is a budgeted item with annual lease payment of $51,227. Any questions, comments, concerns? It is budgeted.
I'm sure it's
And the
needed.
existing lease is expiring, I see here in the consideration.
That's one we don't want to buy back.
No. It works too hard.
Yeah, it gets worked pretty hard.
I don't see a problem, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, I have a motion.
So move.
Second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Perkins, a second by Commissioner White. All in favor, aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Item number 2 on the additional agenda items is authorization to advertise bids for vegetation control on county-maintained roads. This came about yesterday in our budget. For those that weren't here, this topic came up to see what this would look like in our budget workshops as far as currently the county only does I guess you could say spot treatment where there's safety issues on county graded roads, dirt roads, on the vegetation control that creeps out into the right-of-way or into the roadway, actually. The board asked what it would look like on a contractor bid type basis as far as maybe doing some type of minimal herbicide application to help control that, as the equipment side of it is much more expensive, time-consuming, and slower, honestly. So they are going to, I think what they're asking for, what the board asked staff to do to maybe put that out to bid just to see what those numbers would look like and if there were any contractors willing to actually do it. Because we do understand there's some liability there on behalf of the applicator, whomever it may be. Hence, I think the county would prefer a contractor. Yes.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
thank you for clarifying, because it just said here county maintained road, but you did say county graded road, so.
I think our
let's say-
intent yesterday
Yeah,
was
it
the county graded roads
Right.
because we currently
That's what it
do
was.
the equipment, the tree trimming crews do it on all the paved roads
Paved
already.
road,
But and you're right, you did speak to that. We may find a road here or there. We may need to do some paved roads, but it'd be nice to leave it up as an option.
Yes, sir. Name and address for the record. Yes, sir.
Richard Snyder, 29th Road, Brantford, Florida. I just have a quick question because we raise bees out there. Are you guys going to take that in consideration too? Because I know we're registered with the state of Florida, and herbicides are one of the things we don't want around our bees.
100%. So I can
too.
address that because what we talked about yesterday in budget workshops is, hey, let's just see what these numbers look like. And if the numbers are attractive, then the conversation with the contractor would be, hey, how do you do this? Do you do, when you say you're going to go down road XYZ, do you notify all the landowners and give them an option to, awareness? Say, hey, this guy may have an organic farm. whereas no herbicide, pesticide, insecticide, or whatever could be applicated along that stretch of the road, or
Bees.
Or let somebody like me know who we would talk to also, because then we could work with them and try to find a good partnership there to say, hey, this section of road, we need to kind of.
Those were questions that we all arose yesterday in budget workshops when we were talking about that. So if the numbers look favorable and it's something the county does choose to do, then we are all aware that, hey, we need to ask these questions for the beekeepers, for the organic farmers, for the whomever they may be, on how that contractor handles those scenarios.
Perfect. Thanks.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Mr. Chairman, along the same line, we have an extensive list at the office on who the beekeepers are in the county, so we make sure we send some notification out to them also so they can contact the contractor. We'll find a way to communicate.
So to be
with that.
proactive, you may want to go ahead and contact the county office and make sure that your hives are and your property is on that beekeeper list. I think he needs a motion, authorization, just to put that out to bid.
So moved.
Have a motion by Commissioner White, second by Commissioner Mobley. All in favor, aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Under general business, administrators' comments and information. Mr. Scott.
Just like to thank the commission again for a good budget process this year. I was very pleased with the process we went through, and thank all of y'all for y'all support. Through the storm, we've got numerous road repairs we're working on. We've got North Florida Professional Services, Pittman Associates, or Pittman Engineering, and also Tracy Busby's group that works through emergency management, working on different things through Dewberry to help us assess the roads and find some solutions. One thing that we're working on, specifically on 137, is expediting that process. We probably are going to go, and the DOT went in and filled in with millings to kind of get us patched to get through there. We're having to have somebody sit on it 24/7. But it was only down to like a one lane. It's really not fully the full width. We plan on next week doing some barricades and a detour for probably a day to put in a temporary culvert so we can widen that out to make sure it's passable on both sides, so we don't have to babysit it 24/7. And then Pittman and their group is working to expedite the process to get prices in and quotes so we can move forward on that while we're under LSC, so we can speed up that process and get it done quickly. We want to do it right. We've gotten preliminary authorization from DOT and also DEM to put a box culvert there, put it back with concrete and not traditional culverts, so we can do it right this time. It's in the plan to get it paved through DOT in the next year or two. I didn't look at the year that's going to happen, but we don't want to do something, have to rip it up later and start over. So appreciate all of our consultants working with us to find solutions to different issues that we've got, but that's the game plan right now.
Could you give an update on 169th? I know they did some geo testing and whatnot on the status of that one. I hadn't heard in a few days.
I've not heard the final on that yet.
Okay. Anyone have any? All you got, Mr. Scott?
We got Team Rubicon in town, are available to come and help homeowners with tree debris and roofs and things. I've got their phone number, so I'll just read it off. 626-565-8267. I'll say it again. 626-565-8267. Again, they were here during Idalia and was able to clean up yards, take trees off of roofs, and do some good stuff for folks. So if you need any help, they're more than willing to help you.
So that the public knows, Team Rubicon can go on. They're a private entity, so they can go on private property to help homeowners, residential folks that otherwise wouldn't have the equipment or ability to help themselves. So the county and the government can't do that unless it's life-threatening, but Team Rubicon can. So if there's a need for anybody that may need some assistance, these guys can come on your property and help.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
I was at
and girls, I should say.
Yeah, absolutely. I was at a young lady's house this evening before I come to the meeting. They were there.
Big tree had fallen on her barn where her livestock was, and by the time I got there, it was pretty much removed. But I mean, just professional folks, and they're willing to help. So I wouldn't hesitate to reach out if y'all know someone. Please spread that word.
Yeah, a lot of them are retired military and kind of do this as a hobby. So good folks, good cause.
Last thing I just want to mention, we had over 100 roads underwater at one point, so we're down to 19 now. So the water is receding. Finding those, obviously it found all the low spots. Got a long ways to go, but staff's been working hard at it. Appreciate everybody's patience and understanding, but that's all I've got. Thank you all.
Thank you, Mr. Scott. Any questions for Mr. Scott? No, sir. All right, closing comments. Board members, we'll start. Mr. Perkins, where did I start? Where did I start last
Started down here last time.
Okay, we'll start on this side. Mr. Perkins.
Yeah, just one thing I want to say is that, he only had for Commissioner Ivan, but I didn't mention it. But on this week, Ms. Aiken will be here, and those that have workers that's on farms that was affected during the pandemic, during the COVID. They're signing up people to get some aid. They'll get checks for, I think, about $600 check. A man here, he's signed up some of his people there on there, and some of the chicken farmers, harvesters there on there. So she'll be here at the Coliseum, right, Jason, on the 21st. And if anyone has anyone that wants to sign up, they can sign up, and their money has been given through grant money to aid those farmers or those who worked on farms during the time of the pandemic. So she'll be out there from, I think, from 2 to 5 that she's taking people on, extra people or new people, new walk-ins. I think 8 to 2 is those one that she already got signed up. She got quite a few signed up already. I think his farm is signed up. Other than that, just thankful for all those people that doing this storm, you know, that with their patience. We got a lot of calls. I'm sure all of us got calls, and very patient people. We're just grateful for all those that did come in and help us again to get through this storm. And again, it was another learning curve.
Thank you, Mr. Perkins.
Just like to appreciate the staff, Gene, and all the guys at the road department and LT's crew. And I appreciate all the girls and all, but appreciate everybody for coming. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Mobley. Commissioner Hale.
Yeah, just, obviously our staff and Keith and Nina and everybody today and yesterday for the budget workshops, and Greg, all your crew putting everything together, Miss Brenda, everybody. I mean, all the work that goes into that makes it easy for us, guys. It really does. So I just appreciate all of you, and appreciate my board. Had a good meeting. Went through a lot of stuff, and I think we did a great job. So I appreciate y'all.
Thank you, Commissioner Hale. Commissioner White.
Just keep the young family in your prayers. Pretty tough time for them right now. Also, Jana Roberts, they've moved her to Atlanta to a rehabilitation facility there, so still keep her in your prayers as well. Appreciate all the staff. Really appreciate the budget workshop with the board. It all worked out fairly easy. Just appreciate everybody. Thanks for all of you coming, participating, and we'll see you next time. Oh, and go Gators.
That's it.
Boo. Yeah, just echo everyone else's. Thanks to the staff. I mean, the guys and girls in the field, and then the guys and the girls in the office. Lots of work orders coming through and bouncing around with 2 storms pretty much back to back. Maybe sooner or later, Lord will have mercy on us. But be grateful for the blessings that we do have, and like you said, prayers for the young family, and and the Roberts family, what they're dealing with, and for all the ones out there that we're not aware of, and there's
We never know.
pain and suffering everywhere. So just pray for the folks that are hurting. I think that's about all I got. Just long budget workshops, and like I say, good staff makes us look good.
Yeah, that's right.
Can't take credit for all the work that they put into that. But Mr. Scott, you got something else?
Just wanted to touch base. The DOT has awarded the bid for debris pickup to the Stubbs Company. We haven't got the word on how and when they will get started. Expect a meeting this week or next week on that we get the word out, but appreciate the state picking up that. It probably cost us about $20 million here in Idalia if we'd have done it. Waiting about 5-6 years to get the money back was not an option for Suwannee County, but appreciate the state and the support they give us to do that. Hopefully we'll have a better idea of the rhyme and reason to the process. But quite frankly, as long as they pick it up, that's okay.
Yes.
Also, just some of y'all may have known the Brewer family, Bill and Cassie Brewer. They lived here for a number of years out in the Dallin Park area. Bill was a correctional officer at a time that they moved to Tallahassee. Now then they moved to the Villages. Cassie passed away a few days ago, unexpectedly. So just keep the Brewer family in your prayers also.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anything else, guys?
Yes, sir.
I got a motion to adjourn by Commissioner Perkins. Second. Second by Commissioner Hale. All in favor, aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. 5-0.
Hey, you know what we should do for